call this meeting to order. May the Supreme Legislature grant that we be worthy of our power and responsibility, that we deliberate and achieve with wisdom and understanding, recognizing the rights of all of our citizens, with full regard for the dignity and justness of the individual. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilor Daley O'Brien, did you read the minutes from the previous meeting?
I did, Mr. President, and I ask that they be placed on file.
There's a motion.
Second.
By Councilor Daley O'Brien, seconded by Councilor McGonigal. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Placed on file. Councilor LePage, will you do the honors for tonight's meeting? Oh, hey, did I skip somebody? Whoa, ho, ho. Oh.
These bright lights are really washing me out.
Hey, what can I say? Councilor McGonigal.
I would, Mr. President. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, first item.
One-day liquor license. Arthur and Deborah Ingalls, all alcohol at Winnicott Castle, Saturday, June 27th, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Move the license be granted.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Masick, seconded by Councilor Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Next item.
Application from neurofibromatosis, Northeast Coast to Coast Bike Ride requesting bike route through several Haverhill streets to start and end in Gloucester, September 12th, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., and this does have police approval.
Move the application be granted.
Second.
And there's a motion by Councilor Masick, seconded by Councilor McGonigal. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That passes. Next item.
Application from the Garibaldi Club, 86 Washington Street for 18th Annual Baldi 5-Mile River Run to benefit Eric Steinman Scholarship Fund to start and finish at the club Sunday, May 24th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. This has police approval.
Move the application
Second.
be granted.
Motion by Councilor Masick, seconded by Councilor Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Next item.
Tag days, Haverhill High School Field Hockey Boosters, October 10th and 11th.
The request be granted.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Masick, seconded by Councilor Barrett. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That passes. Next item.
Drain Layer 2015 license, Scott Falconer, renewal.
Move the license be granted.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Masick, seconded by Councilor Barrett. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That passes.
Document 34, petition from attorney Robert Harb for applicant Eric V. Dorman requesting special permit to build 4-unit multifamily dwelling on unnumbered Auburn Street, formerly known as number 69, to be sold as condos, vacant lot. Favorable recommendations from Planning Board and Director William Pillsbury.
And I open the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the City Council. My name is Attorney Robert Harb. I have offices at 17 West Street. I'm here with the applicant, Mr. Dorman, and our surveyor, Mr. Stupinski. You all have copies of the plans. This is a special permit application for a 4-unit dwelling to be sold as condominiums. I have submitted a brief in support of this, and you will note in the brief that a few years ago the council had approved a 5-unit plan, but it never got built. Mr. Dorman only bought this about a year and a half ago, and starting after about a year, he and I and the surveyor have been working on this proposal. This is one of the few remaining empty lots. There used to be a building there, it burned down, never was replaced. It's an acre infill lot. And we're hoping to be able to improve the neighborhood by building a brand new 4-unit condominium. We downsized the unit to provide for parking in the rear where the prior plan didn't have that. Some of the neighbors had asked to make sure we could accomplish that so we wouldn't perhaps take up more curb cuts and parking on the street. We went to planning, and as was suggested by Madam Clerk, the Planning Board unanimously was in favor of this. And there were some conditions and letters from the fire and the wastewater. The applicant is in agreement with all of those letters and conditions put by the department heads. This application, I believe, will meet all the requirements of a special permit, as I put in my brief. It's a use that is allowed We meet all the special permit requirements and conditions. It's desirable for the public to have an infill lot here instead of an empty lot. It won't impact the integrity of the area. The area is made up of housing. It's all housing, and some are multiple family housing. It's really going to be an improvement. We're not going to cause any traffic or parking problems because we have parking in the rear. We have city sewer, city water, and we're going to attend to whatever we need to do for if a pump lift station is required. And this certainly isn't a historical site. So would ask that the council approve this special permit so that we can then move forward to go to the definitive plan with planning, as is a requirement of this multifamily use, and proceed, as Mr. Dorman would like, to improve the area.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in favor that would like to speak? Is there anyone else in favor that would like to speak? Is there anyone opposed that would like to speak? Is there anyone opposed that would like to speak? I now close the hearing. Council, what is your wish?
Move for approval of the special permit
Second with
application.
discussion.
Motion by Councilor Masek, seconded by Councilor Daley O'Brien. Councilor Masek.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to ask, if I could ask Attorney Harb one question. There is a section on the plan that we received that says approved by the City of Haverhill Board of Appeals. Were there any need, have you gone to the Board of Appeals?
We've gone to the
This
Board of
plan was
Appeals.
just filed prior, probably, to going to the Appeals Board, so it's not signed off?
We went to the board we filed in November of 14 and received the board's approval for any variances we needed from the zoning ordinance, and we obtained them, similar to what the prior developer had done in the past. And
Great. Thank you very
that
much.
was unanimous also.
Right, I just wanted to ask that, and I also would like to just state that I think this is an excellent project for that area. I'm familiar with the area and a lot in particular, and I think it will be a nice addition to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor, just for clarity, you did have the conditions rolled into the motion?
I haven't, but I would have intended to do that at the appropriate time. But if-
Yeah, I kind of went to the next person very quickly.
Okay, yeah, so then I actually would also like to have the approval of including the proposed conditions and stipulations as cited in the letter from our planning director, and also his recommendation to be part of the approval.
Second.
And there's a motion by Councilor Masek, seconded by Councilor Barrett. And we do have some other councilors that would like to speak. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I want to join my colleague, Councilor Masek, in commending the developer and everyone involved, Steve and you, for proposing and following through with this project. I have no doubt you're going to have a unanimous vote on the City Council. It's very exciting that somebody would go in and make this investment. Part of the reason this works is because you're putting 4 units together, and when you figure the cost of construction now and purchase of the land and all that, you can't do it on 1 or 2 units. The numbers don't work. 4 units, it's going to be marginal. And I thank you for your courage and your belief in the City of Haverhill that we're going to do something to make the rest of Auburn Street look as good as the address that you have. And I just want to not deviate, but talking on this, and I'm going to ask after this is done for a letter to go to the mayor. One of the problems that we have as a community is that we have no plan for our urban area. I've asked a number of people who build houses and develop, why don't you buy one of these multiples that are run down in the middle of the acre up in the Mount Washington area? And the answer is always, it's so costly. Forget the cost of the building and the development, the fees alone. If you want to build a single-family home in Haverhill, I think it's $11,000. And, there's no way to waive it. There's nobody to help you. You almost go in and you're like the enemy. You want to build a house in the acre, we're going to do everything we can to hold you up. And we say it in a different way. We're not so upfront. We just whack the fees, the inspections, you name it. We level everything on it, the codes and all that. And we have block grant monies available, but we don't give a dime to that. And there really is no plan. If somebody on the city council or in the audience can tell me what the city's plan is for doing just what this gentleman is doing in the acre and the Mount Washington area, I'd like to hear it. I don't know of any plan or any discussion. And so therefore it's a good time to be talking about this. We all are worried about those neighborhoods. We drive through them. We look and say, it's going from, bad to worse. It's not improving. And I know the investors looking around and saying, I'm really taking a shot here. Just drive down White Street or over any of these streets and just look. There's a few buildings that have gone up, but they're usually government money, like the one on the corner of Portland Street. That's all government money. And so we know how they operate. They $300,000 or $400,000 for one unit in an apartment building is nothing because they sell the tax credits and there's outside charity money and all of that to make these work. But a real investor can't do it. And after I'm done, after this hearing is done and whatever happens, I'm going to be asking my colleagues on the city council to ask the mayor to convene a meeting on how we as a community can make this kind of a project happen on every one of our urban streets, that people can go in and make a return on their investment on rundown buildings that are providing really not a very good condition in those neighborhoods. So I want to close, Mr. President,
Yes.
by just commending.
And I'll come back
Again.
to you, as a matter of fact, for that recommendation. Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too agree that this is a great proposal. It's a tough area, but it's an area that certainly deserves new housing. Hopefully it will spur on some renovation projects and some of the other housing in the area, and I commend you for that. I am curious, what would be the sale price of these units?
The realtor that I talked to was anywhere from 220 he wasn't sure. That was a year ago when I bought.
So 220 to 250?
That's what, a year ago, that's what
I said the
Yeah.
unit, whatever he sells.
Yeah, it sounds like it's in the ballpark. But yeah, you will have my support for this project. I look forward to more projects like this. I think the inner core of our city is key to the future of Haverhill. It's not just the outlying areas. It's not the developments that will come down the pike for single families. We need to take care of what we have, and what you're doing on that street, if we could replicate that 100 times in the acre, it would certainly bring the acre back to prominence. My family grew up in the acre, so I know the history. So I applaud you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Sullivan.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Daley O'Brien.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. In answer to my other counselor, I think I know what they do with those fees because I think it just walked in and it's holding signs. I think that's what happens with all those fees. They are used in the city. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's what happens with all that money. I'm sure it's not going home with you, is it, Counselor? No. But anyways, I feel this is such an important beginning for that part of the city, and I think that it may be a catalyst to other people doing things over there, even if it's just improving property. And you can't put a value on how a positive project can affect a section, even if it's just one block of the city. I think it's going to add to our tax base, which is always great. We're always looking to bring really good projects to Haverhill. And I think it's just a positive situation. What I'm most concerned about is wanted to see how you were going to do the exterior, because I want it to be looking like it's part of Haverhill and part of that section of Haverhill. And it looks to me, if you stick with what I'm seeing here in the designs, that that's what we're going to have. We're going to have something that fits in with the neighborhood and keeps up the character. And again, it goes back to, so other people may revitalize some other properties in the area. You're enhancing that time of Haverhill when these houses were built, and it's a beautiful era, just like so many of our neighborhoods. So I was really, really happy to see that, and I'm really pleased that I can vote yes for this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor McGonigal.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I think to Councilor Ryan's point, I think you can still make money, and I believe that's what your developer is doing, or he wouldn't be here, or there'd be something wrong with him, some way. So I think that is available if you can buy the property right. And I do believe the city has taken, after listening to the mayor's address to the city, he has decided, along with taking some of the CDBG funding and putting that aside for first-time home buyers and new home buyers to be able to afford, to help them buy into these areas that are supported with CDBG funds. I know with my work with Rebuilding Together, we go to a lot of these neighborhoods, and there are programs that we try to help low-income families stay in these houses, keep them safe, kind of spruce them up a bit, and make them part of a neighborhood, make the neighborhood, revitalize the neighborhood a little bit. So I think you'll do well, and I think more and more of that we're going to start seeing with the other good things that are happening in the city. And I think we do need to do more, as Councilor Ryan had stated, but we're aware of it, and we're taking some steps, and I was happy that the mayor announced that as part of his address to the city of Haverhill. So I am going to support this. I think it's great. I thank you, and let's hope it gets going. You looking to get going right away? I hope it's soon. There we go. Okay. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor. This is, an extraordinary proposal for the inner city in Haverhill. And I think that is, a great thing that the proposer, has stepped forward on this. Putting owner-occupied condos in that particular part of town will help rebuild it. And I think my personal opinion is that the future of the city really depends on what we do in those two neighborhoods, especially Washington Street, High Street, as well as the Acre. And if we do have such a plan, this kind of proposal, I think, would be part of it. With that, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Counsel Scatamacia.
Yes.
Counsel Barrett.
Yes.
Counsel Masek.
Yes.
Counsel Ryan.
Yes.
Counsel Sullivan.
Yes.
Counsel Daley O'Brien.
Yes.
Counsel McGonigal.
Yes.
Counsel LePage.
Yes.
President Mitchell.
Yes,
Very much.
that passes.
And you're walking away healthy, attorney. I'm always
Yes.
a good point,
My client brought the water.
just in case. I was ready. Good night.
Thank you. And Counsel Ryan, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Quickly, I'd like to have the council, through you, Mr. President, send a letter to the mayor asking him to maybe to meet with the council to talk about some creative way that we as a community can bring together all of the resources to attack the blight within the Acre and the Mount Washington neighborhood. And anyone that can add anything to that, I'd welcome it.
And there's a motion by Counsel Ryan. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second from Counsel Masek. And no further discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Scatamacia.
Yes.
Counsel Barrett.
Yes.
Counsel Masek.
Yes.
Counsel Ryan.
Yes.
Counsel Sullivan.
Yes.
Counsel Daley O'Brien.
Yes.
Counsel McGonigal.
Yes.
Counsel LePage.
Yes.
President Mitchell.
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
And that passes. Next item.
Ordinance regarding tag days, amend City Code, Chapter 227-7, soliciting on public ways. This should be placed on file for 10 days.
So move.
Second.
A motion by Counsel Masek, seconded by Counsel Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Next item.
Ordinance regarding peddling and soliciting, amend City Code, Chapter 191, Article 7, food trucks. This should be placed on file for 10 days.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Counsel Masek, seconded by Counsel Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Next item.
Ordinance regarding taxi cabs and buses, amend City Code, Chapter 230. This should be placed on file for 10 days.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Counsel Masek, seconded by Counsel Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Next.
Ordinance regarding parking, 9 Beach Street, delete handicap parking. This should be placed on file for 10 days.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Masek, seconded by Counselor Barrett. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And that passes. And are there any committee reports? There are none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Ryan, seconded by Counselor Daley O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None?
I guess
We are now adjourned.